Joining us now via Skype is the former governor of Arkansas and 2008 GOP presidential candidate Mike Huckabee. Touted as a possible GOP vice presidential candidate, Governor Huckabee's new nationally syndicated radio show, The Mike Huckabee Show, heard daily on more than 500 Cumulus radio network stations, is receiving wide acclaim. And Governor Huckabee, thank you so much for being with us today.
Delighted to be here.
Governor, I know you're having a lot of fun and much success with the new radio show, but your name has been suggested as a Romney VP running mate, potentially. Any chance you'd consider joining Mitt on the ticket, and has he or his staff reached out to you to discuss it?
Haven't heard from them, so I'm not anticipating a call. If one comes through, of course, you always listen to those things, but nobody has contacted me, and I would not sit around thinking that's going to happen.
You have said that you wouldn't endorse any one candidate in the primary, but that you would support whoever the nominee is. Since Mitt Romney won the Texas primary and is assured of becoming the GOP nominee, could you endorse him now?
Absolutely. In fact, I did last night in New Hampshire, the first time that I've really had the opportunity to on Tuesday. And I was very careful and deliberate in not wanting to get involved in the process prior to somebody securing the nomination, largely because of the that I play on both radio and television. I didn't feel like that it was appropriate for me to pick one of several Republican candidates. I don't think anyone doubted that I was going to support the Republican, but Mitt Romney has now earned, and I use that term very specifically, he has earned the nomination. He worked hard to get it. And therefore, I think all Republicans and all conservatives need to rally around Mitt Romney. We have an excellent opportunity to end what has been 4 nightmarish years of the Obama administration's leadership and direction of the country. And so when I was in New Hampshire last night speaking to a state Republican Party gathering, their victory dinner, I made it very clear. I'll do everything that I can to vigorously support Mitt Romney, because I think our country is at stake, and I believe his leadership would provide the right direction, as opposed to what we've had 4 years, which is the wrong direction.
Social conservatives and value voters strongly supported you during your 2008 presidential bid, but they seem to have been reluctant to embrace Mitt Romney. Are social conservatives and value voters beginning to rally around Mitt?
They will. I think right now it's still important that Mitt gives them every indication that they have nothing to fear from his presidency. And I think a lot of people in the value voter arena understand that we've endured 4 painful years of a president who not only ignores, but actually attacks religious liberties. And his outrageous attacks, for example, on the issue of forcing institutions to provide morning after abortion pills, is just one example of how this administration has not just been neutral or indifferent, but it's actually been hostile to forces of religious liberty and individual conscience. So any social conservative who thinks it's okay to sit this one out, had better rethink it. And is Mitt Romney a perfect candidate? No, nobody is. But he is, I think, solid on the issues that are going to matter most to us. And I have no doubt about Mitt Romney's commitment to the issue of life. He's made that very clear. He can't go back on it now. He's also made it very clear that he will do nothing to advance the redefinition of marriage to mean something that it's never meant before. So the lines of demarcation have clearly been drawn, and I would be very disappointed if value voters at this point thought, well, it doesn't really matter. Oh, it matters a great deal, and they need to understand that.
President Obama recently came out in support of gay marriage, as you noted. Do you think that this helps or hurts him with voters? I
think there are areas of the country where it will help him. He's already raised a lot of money as a result of his position on that issue. Some areas geographic, liberal states, it may be helpful to him. But I think it's going to be very, very hurtful to him in many parts of the country, particularly in the Midwest and in the South. This issue has galvanized a lot of voters, and not just Republicans or conservatives, but this has galvanized a lot of Catholic voters. It's galvanized a lot of working class Democrats who just aren't ready to redefine marriage, even if they're ready to accept that people have a right to live any way they wish to, and they'll leave them alone, but they don't to change the definition of marriage. And that is not going to be acceptable to so very many people across the country.
Planned Parenthood has launched a new ad campaign that attacks Mitt Romney, declaring that his policies undermine women's rights. Do you think that this is fair, and should Planned Parenthood, which receives taxpayer dollars and is supported by the Obama administration, even be in the campaign game?
Well, first of all, I think Planned Parenthood operates a horrible industry. It's a ruse. It's all in the name of women's health. There's nothing healthy about killing an unborn child. It's very unhealthy to the child, and it's not necessarily healthy to the mother. It's not healthy to her physical health. It's not healthy to her psychological health. But Planned Parenthood doesn't tell the women that, because they're primarily not a health organization. They are a profit-centered organization that exploits women for their own profiteering. And I think it's a shameful industry. And those who have been involved in it, who have actually been on the inside of Planned Parenthood, people like Abby Johnson, who finally decided that her conscience wouldn't allow her to continue in this slaughter, come out of it and reveal the dirty little secrets that this is essentially a cash operation. And I think taxpayers shouldn't invest a penny in it. Even when they try to pretend that they're helping women with whether it's mammograms, they don't provide those services. They simply are a referral agency. And the actual services are provided by others, which means that there's no reason to have Planned Parenthood as the middleman helping to operate anything regarding women's health with tax dollars.
As part of his re-election bid, President Obama continues talking about fairness. You noted this on your radio show recently. In his push for raising taxes on the nation's wealthiest, he says everybody needs to pay their, quote, fair share. What do you think President Obama means by this?
I don't think he has a clue. I think it's just a political a tactic on his part to try to make it appear that he's going after wealthy people. Look, if people obtain their wealth illegally, then go after them criminally. But if they obtained it legally, then we ought to celebrate and salute them for having worked hard and had good ideas. I always find it interesting that President Obama attacks wealth in the generic sense. But you ask yourself, would the country be better off without having had Steve Jobs to create Apple Computer? Would the country have been better off without Bill Gates? Would the country have been better off without people who have designed and created, whether it's the automobile or any numbers of technologies that made them wealthy, but may have provided a great boost to our lifestyle? Do we blame the Wright brothers and say, gee, they might have made money off the airplane, or the Ford family certainly made a lot of money off cars? Well, good. I'm glad they did. Frankly, I think people who do things that help other people and empower them with greater freedom, greater conveniences, they ought to make money off that. The president's idea of fairness, though, is flawed in that America's always been a place where it was supposed to be that you had a fair shot at hard work, a fair shot at education, a fair shot to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But it didn't mean that the outcome of your efforts would be the same. Fairness and sameness are two different things. The president confuses them, and he thinks that fairness means sameness, that everybody ought to end up with maybe the same result because he's going to redistribute the wealth. As a person who grew up poor, who did not have a lot of stuff and didn't have what maybe many would consider the great opportunities. I'm the first male in my entire family lineage that graduated from high school, much less went to college. So I understand all that. But I didn't have to somehow think that the government had to even things up for me. I just had to really work hard. And I appreciate what opportunities have been mine through the years. The president seems to think that a person can't make it unless the government steps in and props them up. I find it insulting to the human spirit, insulting to the American spirit, insulting to the many people, both black, white, as well as people of every ethnic group imaginable, who came to this country with nothing but change in their pocket and built great, great families and great businesses and great enterprises and made America strong.
Governor, what are President Obama's prospects for re-election in your view? You told me earlier you actually feel sorry for Democrats.
Well, the other night I was in Toronto at a forum for the Simon Wiesenthal Center, and it was Karl Rove and myself on one side, and Donna Brazile and James Carville on the other. And during the evening, I actually began to feel sorry for them because I thought they're doing as well as they can, and they're very, very capable, smart, and articulate people. But it's hard to defend President Obama. And I realized that what can you say? He's done a great job of leading the economy. You can't say that. He's done a great job of making the world safer and building our relationships with our allies like Israel. No, you really can't say that. What can you say? That he's brought the political parties together and created a real consensus kind of government? No, he's done the opposite of that. And as I listened, I realized that this is a great opportunity for conservatives in this election to demonstrate a fundamental difference between the idea of big government and big opportunity for individuals. And I look forward to a very vigorous debate. I think it's going to be a close election. I don't think it's going to be a runaway. There are a lot of people who still naively think that President Obama is a wonderful leader and it's all the stuff that he inherited. But I think in the end, Americans have the good sense to realize the direction of this country for the past 4 years is not a good direction, and we need to change course and elect Mitt Romney president.
Governor Mike Huckabee, thanks so much for being with us on Newsmax TV.
Okay, great to be with you.